Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Bhallava Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandanam Braja Janardan Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yasodanandana Braja Janardan Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shirate Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shirate Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shirate Jaya Lalita Visaka Lalita Visaka Lalita Visaka Jaya Lalita Visaka Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram Kṛṣṇa Balaram Kṛṣṇa Balaram Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Shrimati Gopal Krishna Vishnu Prabhupada Sahitam Yapakasha Vitiraja Pacharam Girvansharu Gatpati No Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanam Gyana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiguru Shijuta Parakamalam Shigurum Vaishnavamscha Sirupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakambitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneśwari Visavano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 29, text number 15. Kṛṣṇa and the gopis meet for the rasa dance. And before we start, Happy New Year. Every day is New Year in Krishna Balaram Mandir, but just to conform with the normal going on, whatever is in the whole world. Actually, they just made it up. Like Christmas and New Year, they just put a date to start the new, whatever you call New Year. But the New Year is a time when the creation was done by Lord Vishnu. That is the New Year, or New Day. Or for us, we celebrate New Year as Gora Purnima. Text 15. Kāmaṁ krodhaṁ bhayaṁ sneham aikyam sauhṛdam eva ca nityam harau vidadhato yānti tan-mayatāṁ hite kāmaṁ krodhaṁ bhayam sneham aikyam sauhṛdam eva ca nityam harau vidadhato yānti tan-mayatāṁ hite. Kāmaṁ krodhaṁ bhayaṁ sneham aikyam sauhṛdam evacha nityam harau vidadhato yānti tan-mayatāṁ hite.
aikyam harau vidadhato yānti tan-mayatāṁ hite kāmaṁ krodhaṁ bhayam sneham aikyam sauhṛdam evacha nityam harau vidadhato yānti tan-mayatāṁ hite.
Mataji's word for word meaning: kāmaṁ, lust; krodham, anger; bhayam, fear; sneham, loving affection; aikyam, unity; sauhṛdam, friendship; evacha, also; nityam, always; harau, for Lord Hari; vidadhato, exhibiting; yānti, they achieve; tat-mayatām, absorption in Him; He, indeed; they, such persons. Translation and purport by the disciples and followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Persons who constantly direct their lust, anger, fear, protective affection, feeling of impersonal oneness or friendship toward Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thought of Him. Everybody please repeat. Persons who constantly direct their lust, anger, fear, protective affection, feeling of impersonal oneness or friendship toward Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thought of Him. So there is hope for every one of us. Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa is pure spiritual existence, and those who somehow or other become attached to Him, absorbed in thoughts of Him, rise to the spiritual platform. This is the absolute nature of the Lord's personal association. With this verse, Sukadeva Goswami answers King Parikshit's questions about the gopis. After all, Sukadeva has begun to narrate Krishna's most intimate pastime, the rasa dance, and Parikshit is cooperating to remove the doubts of others who are hearing or who in the future may hear this astonishing story. Srila Madhvacharya has quoted a statement from the Skanda Purana that emphatically declares persons like the gopis to be liberated souls beyond the pale of material illusion. Bhakchahi nichakamitvam natu mukting vinababit atakamitaya bhapi muktir bhakti matang harau. Quote, eternal conjugal attraction to Kṛṣṇa, expressed in pure devotional service, cannot develop in one who is not already liberated. Thus, those who are devoted to Lord Hari, even in conjugal attraction, are already liberated. Unquote. Srila Madhvacharya then quotes from the Padma Purana to clarify the essential point that one cannot be liberated simply by lusting after Lord Kṛṣṇa, but rather only by possessing conjugal attraction in pure devotional service. Sneha bhakta sadadeva kamit venapsara striya kaschit kaschinna kamena bhaktya kevalaivatu. Quote, the demigods are always affectionately devoted to the Lord, and the young ladies of heaven called apsaras have lusty feelings toward Him. Although some of them have pure devotion for Him, untainted by material lust, only these later apsaras are ready for liberation, because without bona fide devotional service, one cannot possibly achieve liberation. Unquote. Thus, devotional service is not yogyam or appropriate unless free from material lust. One should not take cheaply the gopis' achievement of personal association with Lord Kṛṣṇa in a conjugal relationship. To show the gravity of direct relationship with the Lord, Srila Madhvacharya has quoted the following verses from the Varaha Purana. Patitvena siyo pashyo brahmana me piteti cha pitamahatayan yesham tridashanam Janardana. Quote, the goddess Lakshmi worships Lord Janardana as her husband. Lord Brahma worships him as his father. And the other demigods worship him as their grandfather. Unquote. Pratimahomi Bhagavan iti sarva janashyatu guru shibhamano vishnu shuranam cha gurur guru. Unquote. Thus, people in general should think the Supreme Lord is my great-grandfather. Lord Vishnu is the spiritual master of Brahma, and thus the guru of the demigods. Unquote. Guru Brahmasya Jagato Daivang Vishnu Sanatana iti eva poshanam karyam nanyatatu katanchana. Quote, Brahma is the spiritual master of this universe, and Vishnu is eternally worshipable deity. With this understanding and not otherwise, one should worship the Lord. Unquote. The above injunctions apply to sarva jana, all people in general. Thus, one should follow these injunctions until one achieves the exalted platform of intimate relationship with the Supreme Lord. There is abundant evidence that the gopis of Vrindavan were highly elevated, liberated souls, and thus their pastimes with Kṛṣṇa are pure, spiritual affairs. Keeping this in mind, we can truly understand this chapter of the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Kāmaṁ krodhaṁ bhayaṁ sneham aikyam sauhṛdam evacha nityam harau vidadhato yānti tan-mayatāṁ. Again, the translation. Persons who constantly direct their lust, anger, fear, protective affection, feeling of impersonal oneness or friendship toward Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thought of Him. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa, is now, on this part of the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, is about to fulfill the desires of the young gopis. They wanted to be with Lord Kṛṣṇa and to be intimately be alone, especially in the middle of the night, which according to the Vedic culture, it is not appropriate, especially young girls. Even in Vrindavan, right now, at this present moment, the police are telling us for not to have the women to roam around because it is dangerous and morally it is not proper. The Supreme Lord's activities is transcendental and He is beyond moral rules or values. He is so transcendental that even this seemingly an immoral act to dance with the young girls in the middle of the night, and even though some of them are also married, some of them have children as well, still by his fulfilling the desires of his pure devotees, he will do just to please them. At this time, Lord Kṛṣṇa is about 8 years old. So ultimately, as an 8-year-old boy, there is no lust, there is no tinge of lust. And when we say lust, lust means attraction towards the opposite sex, or wanting material desires to be fulfilled to the highest degree, or to maintain one's prestige or position, to acquire more and more position even beyond his reach. This is what I call lusty desire. Mostly lusty desire is not just attraction towards the opposite sex, but it is wanting to accumulate more and more material desires and to fulfill them. So, according to the acharyas, many verses are quoted here, that since Lord Kṛṣṇa is spiritual in his existence, and therefore his act of dancing with the young gopis in the middle of the night is not really free. That means it is free from the modes of material nature. I will give you some instances how Lord Kṛṣṇa's dancing with the gopis is beyond the modes of material nature. It is considered to be transcendental. And the Acharya says that Kṛṣṇa performed these pastimes in order for the conditioned souls to become free from lusty desires. Even though for the mundane scholars, they will see that this is immoral. But it's like the cure for our disease is to show these pastimes. And our disease is that we still have lusty desires. And that's why we are still here in the material world. So Kṛṣṇa's age is 8 years old. So how one can say that this rasa dance is full of lusty desire? Usually 8 years old, 7 years old, just passed by, he lifted Govardhan Hill. Is free from malice. Innocence is there. They will not know what is the opposite sex or not. They may like, young boys and girls, but beyond that, there is no lusty desire. He is Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the possessor of all 6 opulences to the unlimited degree. Wealth, beauty, fame, knowledge, renunciation, and strength. As someone may say, oh, he's dancing with the gopis. He's very lusty. But Prabhupada says, he is unlimitedly lusty. He is unlimited, unto the unlimited degree. Again, his lust is not lust like the mundane lust. It is prem. It is completely affection. The affection towards his pure devotees. Another one. The gopis are expansions of Kṛṣṇa's pleasure potency. No one can be with Kṛṣṇa unless they are completely pure in their nature. It's like Prabhupada says, no one can enter the sun planet unless you have the same form that can absorb the heat. So all of these associates of the Supreme Lord are in Chinmaya Ras, nature, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. To be with the Supreme Lord, one has to become pure. One cannot be with Kṛṣṇa unless one is pure. And as we've heard from the Purport, that unless one is liberated, one cannot be in the conjugal love. And that means that if one is in the conjugal love, he's already liberated. So there's no tinge of mundane affection here. And Prabhupada gave an example of that, just like Kṛṣṇa's dancing with the gopis is like a child's playing with his reflection on the mirror. His same nature is the same, the child, because the gopis are expansions of Lord Kṛṣṇa. And the topmost is Srimati Radharani, the personified Hiladini Shakti, pleasure potency. So Kṛṣṇa himself expanded as Srimati Radharani. So if he has relationship with Radharani, who is his having relationship with? Himself only. So when the child sees his reflection on the mirror and plays. Oh, it's like playing with another baby. But it's not. It's the same person. It's a very nice analogy of Srila Prabhupada. Gopis have spiritual bodies. There is no mundane interaction again here. Kṛṣṇa, one of the name of Lord Kṛṣṇa is Madan Mohan, he who attracts Cupid. But Kṛṣṇa is attracted to Radharani, Madan Mohan Mohini, the name of Srimati Radharani. So again, the attraction is there towards himself in the form where he will further enhance his bliss or his happiness. All of these things is happening in Vrindavan is under the jurisdiction of Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is the potency of the Supreme Lord, whereby all pervades the spiritual world. Yoga Maya is the spiritual energy for the devotees not to see Kṛṣṇa as God. And in Vrindavan, they don't care whether Kṛṣṇa is God or not. They don't care. Sometimes the elderly Gopas will talk amongst themselves whether he is God, Lord Vishnu, or demigod. It is like a thin film for the inhabitants of Vrindavan not to see Kṛṣṇa in his Aishwarya mood. As we've heard in the Purport, everyone should see Lord Kṛṣṇa as what? Grandfather. Remember? Not just a father, but grandfather is more awe and reverence. But at the same time, the grandfather is more dearer to the grandson than his own son. So we should see always the Supreme Lord in the initial stage as just like our worship of Radha Shyama Sundar should be in the mood, according to Srila Prabhupada, as Lakshmi Narayan. Those who are in the spontaneous, loving devotional service in the Raganuga Bhakti, then they can really relate to Radha Shyam as Radha Shyam, Radha Kṛṣṇa. But in the beginning, we don't have that adhikar to worship the Supreme Lord in a spontaneous way, like the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So in the initial stage, in the Vaidhi Bhakti, we worship the Supreme Lord accordingly, as being chalked out by the previous acharyas, and as how Srila Prabhupada has told us to do so. Kṛṣṇa is the super soul, interaction with the living entity. So, the super soul, he doesn't interact even with conditioned souls in the mundane platform. Kṛṣṇa interacts on the spiritual platform. So the relationship between the Paramatma and the Jiva Atma is in the spiritual platform. What to say of his Bhagavan feature, personal form, that is beyond, moreover, than the mundane platform. Aptakama. Lord Kṛṣṇa is self-satisfied. He's already self-satisfied. And again, it says that he expanded himself to fulfill more his desire, to increase his happiness. So, again, it is not mundane. And Prabhupada gave an example, just like a person living in his own house. If he lives in his own house, is he a thief? Yes or no? Of course not. That is his own house. So similarly, Lord Kṛṣṇa, it is his own expansions again, trying to enjoy and fulfill their desires. It's amazing. His expansion, but they have their own identity. And that identity also not to enjoy with Kṛṣṇa, but to please Kṛṣṇa. To give Kṛṣṇa what Kṛṣṇa is wanting to have. That is love. Lust means I want something for myself. Like in the material world, as Prabhupada says, you rub my back and I'll rub your back. That is lust. That is mundane. But in this spiritual platform, Kṛṣṇa is aptakama, is self-satisfied. But still, again, for his ultimate satisfaction, he expanded himself. And those expansions, intimate relationship with him, the devotees like the gopis, their main purpose is to please and serve the Supreme Lord, not for their own enjoyment. It's like Prabhupada gave an example. In the material world, we decorate ourselves so that others will be, for our enjoyment. But the gopis, they decorate themselves to please Kṛṣṇa. Their decorations is for Kṛṣṇa's pleasure. The Supreme Creator and Proprietor, Lord Kṛṣṇa, as he says in the Bhagavad-Gita, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka mahesvaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatpamam santim richati. So how can you say that this is mundane? He is the Supreme Creator. He is the cause of all causes. He is the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices. He is the friend of everyone. Many so-called reciters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, they will jump immediately towards the 10th canto, especially these 5 chapters of the Rasa Lila. They don't want to start with Janmadi Asayataha, first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. They want to immediately go there, and most of them, if not all of them, their main purpose is because of the monetary, the donations that will come. Because people, they want to enjoy. But we have to fulfill the desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because He is the supreme enjoyer, not to enjoy ourselves. Another one, the reason why or how this is not mundane. Even Kṛṣṇa's devotees are not lusty. If the devotees of the Lord are not lusty, then Kṛṣṇa is also not lusty. Example may be given just like Arjuna. Arjuna, one of the 5 Pandavas, when he went to the heavenly planets, and Urvasi wanted to enjoy with him, society girl, an apsara. But Arjuna says, no, I have to respect you. You are the wife of my father. How can I do this? It's not possible. Who's the father of Arjun? Indra. Indra's wife is Urvasi. Another example is Haridas Thakur. Everybody knows the story of Haridas Thakur. There is this one big Majumdar. And he wanted, because Haridas Thakur, being a devotee of the Lord, is very popular. He doesn't have to advertise himself. A pure devotee of the Supreme Lord doesn't advertise himself that I am a pure devotee. Everybody knows. He will not consider himself as a pure devotee, but by his action, by the qualities that emanates from him, everyone can see that he's a pure devotee. So this Kaviraj Khan, he doesn't want Haridas Thakur to be more popular than him. So he made a plan to defame him. So he called all the prostitutes in the area, in Benapol, where Haridas Thakur is chanting his 192 rounds. And when he called all the prostitutes, there is only one says that I will do it. I will do it, and I'm going to make sure that he will fall down. Just give me 3 nights. Just 3 times, 3 nights. So when she approached Haridas Thakur says, okay, just wait. Wait here because I have not finished my rounds yet. I committed to chant 10 million times the holy name of the Lord. You know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to prepare his preaching mission, how many rounds he chanted? 1 billion. We cannot even finish our 16 rounds. We're trying hard to finish our 16 rounds. And we think we're big preachers. So Haridas Thakur says, you just wait. And Haridas Thakur is chanting in front of the Tulsi. This is one of the ways how we can increase our quality of chanting. And the other day when I went to Prabhupada's house, I saw there was a Tulsi plant over there. It's very good. So while Haridas Thakur is chanting, then the prostitute is also hearing the holy name. And Haridas Thakur is chanting Sudanam, pure chanting of the holy name, in love of God. So when the sun started to rise, he finished his quota for the day. And he told the prostitute that, I'm sorry, you have to come back tomorrow. I was not able to fulfill your desires. I'm ready. I'm willing to fulfill your desire. So the next day, she came back and she told us, actually the Majumdar, Mohammedan ruler, that sorry, I failed this time. So I'm coming back. So the next day, again, Haridas Thakur was chanting. And then he says that I have to finish my quota for today. So you just sit here. And she was starting to become attracted to the holy name. She was just like, hey, this is very good. Let me try also chanting like him. So the dawn came, and again, he's not able to fulfill the desires. And the next day, again, the same thing happened, and ultimately, the prostitute started to chant along with Haridas Thakur. So in this way, a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord is free from lusty desire. What to say of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And ultimately, even great Paramahamsas like Sukadeva Goswami, they relishes the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Sukadeva Goswami is Jivan Mukta. Is an eternal associate of the Supreme Lord, specifically of Srimati Radharani. Sukadev means parrot. He is the parrot of Radharani. That somehow you will not see a single name of a gopi in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Except Mother Yasoda. No names of gopi mentioned, isn't it? Huh? Because if he mentions any one of them, he may fall into ecstasy and he will faint, fully unconscious, and then the Srimad Bhagavatam will not be completed in 7 days. So Sukadeva Goswami is Paramahamsa. He doesn't wear any clothes, as we've heard yesterday. That even when he was passing by, whereby the young damsels were taking bath, they did not cover themselves. But the same place where Vyasadeva passed by, they feel embarrassed. They pull their clothes and cover themselves. So Paramahamsas, even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he glorifies the inhabitants of Braj. By doing so, we should follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. But to do that, we have to purify ourselves. Purification is a must. We have to look deeper and deeper and deeper within our heart. What is my purpose in Kṛṣṇa consciousness? I'm going to give you 10 seconds, all of you, this question I'm going to ask. What is my purpose? Why I am in Kṛṣṇa consciousness? We have many desires, practically unlimited. I was reading the other day, I don't know how they come to the conclusion that every day a normal person will have 32,000 different kinds of desires. 32,000 only. I don't know how they come to that. I don't know. But that is according to... Well, sometimes they can, they put these different gadgets. Do you desire to know? Huh? Do you desire to know? Yeah. No. Oh, I'm not going to ask you what is your purpose. Because each and every one of us is an individual soul. Some have material desires. That's normal. Having this body still means having material desires. But we should have desire to the highest. Just like when we go in parikrama and Govardhan Hill, Kṛṣṇa is there. So whatever is in your mind, whatever is in your consciousness, Kṛṣṇa can hear. He can see. And Vrindavan means Chintamani. It's the land of Chintamani where all your desires will become fulfilled. So what is my purpose? Why I am in Kṛṣṇa consciousness? Why am I chanting every day? Why am I getting up early in the morning? Why am I coming for the Bhagavatam class? But each and every one of us has a different desire. So accordingly, Kṛṣṇa will fulfill this. So we have to be careful, especially when we are in Vrindavan, what to desire. Ultimately, our desire should be to attain love of God, to go back home, back to Godhead. But before we can reach that platform of attaining it, we have to pay the price. And the price is not so cheap. It's not like a commodity. But again, according to Rupa Goswami, if it is available in the market, you should be ready to pay any price. And the price is lobha, greed. Like the materialists, they are greedy for attaining their sense enjoyment, we should be also ready to pay the price. That greed to serve the Supreme Lord and His devotees favorably, with affection, sneham. As it says here in the sloka, lust, anger, fear, protective affection, feeling of impersonal oneness or friendship towards Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thought of Him. But the acharyas, they disregard this anger and fear. Even Kubja has lusty desire towards Lord Kṛṣṇa. But her lusty desire towards Lord Kṛṣṇa is not in the same level as the gopis' lusty desire towards Lord Kṛṣṇa. Because Kubja wants to enjoy for herself. But that was not disregarded by the acharyas. Fear and anger. Kamsa also. He's in fear always. He's thinking of Kṛṣṇa 24 hours a day. But it is not in a favorable way. He's thinking constantly, maybe more than most of us, but not in a favorable way. He wanted to kill Kṛṣṇa. Fear and anger, like Shishupal. Shishupal was like, he had this premonition to always blaspheme Lord Kṛṣṇa. And it is only Lord Kṛṣṇa who will able to kill him as well. But his mother says, please, spare my child. But Kṛṣṇa says, okay, only up to 100 times. Only up to 100 times. If he passed that, that's it. The premonition here, the most important thing here, the purport says, is that we have to, whatever we feel about Kṛṣṇa, it has to be with affection. Sneha, loving affection. So in this way, even anger, even fear, it doesn't matter what we are having, that relation in the beginning state has to be with affection. It should be transformed. Then Kṛṣṇa will be able to be remembered all the time favorably, and one can attain love of God ultimately. So it's New Year again, 2023, the first day of the year, 1st of January. We should have a resolution or many resolutions, but usually resolutions is proven that it's not going to be followed. The material platform anyway. Oh, yes. Sometimes even, well, some resolutions from our authority changes to adjust. So spiritually, we should have a permanent resolution. Not just only today, because today is New Year. We should have a permanent resolution that, oh Kṛṣṇa, please give me the strength, determination, conviction, inspiration to keep going on in this process in developing love for you. And I will do anything and everything. I'm ready to pay any price. Please give me this privilege, especially in the association of devotees, which is the most painful, to be separated from the Lord's devotees. The devotees are our saving grace. So we have to choose also the kind of devotees that we have to associate with. Preferably those who are more advanced than we are. Try to serve them, inquire from them. To those who are in equal with us, be in friendship, relationship with them. We have to avoid materialistic devotees. If we are able to give our association with them and they're ready to accept our association, it's better for them. But we should not take their association because it could be detrimental in our practice of Krishna consciousness. So, our main message here is that we have to continue on, hope against hope, that we will attain love of God and also will be able to share others Krishna consciousness. It's like last night I was walking around and I've seen so much eagerness of the devotees to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. If you want to easily recognize by the Supreme Lord, tell others about Lord Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is all attractive, but Kṛṣṇa is attracted to his devotees who are risking everything to spread his glories, his name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes. And I've seen even one young girl, very small, and she approached me and she gave me a Bhagavad-Gita. She says, "What is this? What is this?" Oh, she's giving gifts to everyone, but actually it was like in a wrapper, very nice wrapper. So I was asking, what's this? Bhagavad-Gita, her mother says. Oh, she's giving this to everyone, distributing. So even a small child is so eager to do it. She may not know what she's doing, but nevertheless, Kṛṣṇa is attracted to that personality. So we try to do our best and again, continue on with our service and increase more our love and affection towards the Supreme Lord and His devotees. Hare Krishna. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lord Chaitanya defined the Vaishnava as a Vaishnava to avoid the company of non-devotees.
A Vaishnava Achara.
And you were mentioning to have the association of sadhus living at the temple community and fixing your mind in that way. Also, I was thinking about this association, because you don't want to have bad association doesn't mean that you don't go out and sankirtan.
Yeah.
We're not associating with them,
You're
giving them Kṛṣṇa.
Right.
Fix your mind that this is pleasure to my spiritual master and to Kṛṣṇa, and also enlightens and brings people back to Kṛṣṇa. Then Kṛṣṇa is very happy. But of course, if you're having difficulty in Kṛṣṇa hearing and chanting, keep the association with devotees. It's a comment.
Very good, very good. Any questions? There you go. Give the mic, please. Yeah, when we associate, especially those devotees, grihastas, who work, like having a 9-to-5 regular job, be careful. Work for Kṛṣṇa. It's like we mentioned yesterday, karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Don't take the association of your co-workers unless they are devotees. You give your association. Yes, sir. Go like this.
Such a wonderful topic that anarthas are just like greed and lust. This is so difficult, and it is going to be there in the last bit of life. Don't know whether this is going to be, these anarthas will be leaving us or not. But I heard that in the last bit, Krishna is going to check us. So, if these anarthas will be there, so how can we develop affection for Krishna?
That's why we have to chant the holy name of the Lord. This is the formula. Chetu darpana marjanam. Our heart is full of dust, like a mirror. You cannot see yourself. So we have to wipe that dust. chanting Hare Krishna. Okay? Yes. Haribol. Yes.
Thank you very much for your class. And we noticed that we want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from self-guided soul. And today is the first day of the year. And you also advise us for distributing self-book.
Yes.
So kindly you also advise us we should read every day book.
Yeah.
If we read every day book, then we can
Right.
our life and we can also convince others.
Sure. Yeah, Prabhupada says, I wrote these books not just for distribution. I wrote these books for my disciples to read. And what is the purpose why Prabhupada wrote these books? To convince us to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we'll keep on reading and relishing Srila Prabhupada's books. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Sir.
It's a very basic question. In Bhagavad-Gita 15:1-15, Krishna says that I am seated.
Sarvasya chaham hideshana vishtu matasmitir jnanam apahanam cha.
He mentioned in the class that he interacts with the jivas only in the spiritual platform.
Yeah, the interaction.
The question is, in day-to-day life, so many bad thoughts, so many good thoughts that comes from them. Where those comes from?
The thoughts comes from our mind. It's not from the super soul. When the senses are fully under control, the mind becomes peaceful. Then when the mind becomes peaceful, the super soul is already rich. So the thoughts that's coming onto our mind, shall I do that, or many bad things happen, this is our mind. When our mind is peaceful because the senses are controlled, meaning the senses are being used in the service of Lord Kṛṣṇa, then we can hear the dictation of the Paramatma. Then there is an interaction now and the spiritual platform. Now there is no interaction. Kṛṣṇa is there within our heart, but He is invisible to us. We are not seeing Kṛṣṇa. We are not knowing Kṛṣṇa is there. Do you understand? Yes? So first, control the senses, control the mind, sharpen the intelligence, read Bhagavad-Gita every day, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and other Vedic literatures, serve the Vaishnavas, offer your food to Kṛṣṇa. It's like a complete package. Then we'll come to the spiritual platform. Now we are just like a child learning how to crawl. And one day we will walk. Right? Any other question? Last one or two question? Last two. Can you open your, so I can see your lotus face? Yes, thank you.
Not a question, but I want to share a pastime where Durvasa Muhamani come to visit Vrindavan, and the gopis want to take prasad go to him. Prasad. So they have to cross the Yamuna for going to the Durvasa Muhamani, other side. So Kṛṣṇa is there, so they know Kṛṣṇa is a super personality. So they approach Kṛṣṇa to ask him, I heard this one in another place and I don't really fully remember. So then Kṛṣṇa tells the gopis, when you go to the Yamuna, just say that Kṛṣṇa is brahmachari, he is not having any lust or anything desires, and then she will give the path to you.
Okay.
So all the gopis are smiling, laughing, joking, and going there to the Yamuna without fully trusting or praying. And they do that prayer, and Yamuna gives a path. So I thought it's like in connection to that.
Sure.
Rasa Leela, it's a really nice way to understand. Even coming back to Durvasa Muhamani says the same thing. They give him the hot, salty, and that food. But then he tells them, when you go to the Yamuna, tell that Durvasa Muni is very soft, salty guy, and he doesn't take anything which is hot or salty. Then they give the path back. So
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for talking about association. So, question regarding that. So, me and my wife are both from families, non-devotees. So we can devotee, but the family is not devotee.
Family is not a devotee.
So,
That is difficult. We'll try to explain to them your lifestyle and let them know that you have chosen this for our own spiritual benefit. Nothing changed with our relationship between parents and son. But please give us this privilege, this freedom. I hope we are not disturbing you. If you think that we are disturbing you, we'll find our ways to adjust. But please give us this freedom to do what we have chosen in our life. And hopefully they become favorable. If they're not favorable and they're really disturbing you a lot, if you can find another place where you can practice Krishna consciousness, do so. Okay? Only when they become blasphemous and really like criticizing, then you completely avoid them.
thank you. So, maybe one more difficult detail. So, they let us be, right? So, they don't mind.
Okay.
So they invite to their house, please join. They're serving us vegetarian food, no problem. But they're, eating, drinking, whatever. So, this becomes...
No, this you tolerate. When Prabhupada first came to America, Sali Agarwal and what's his name? Gopal? They have meat in the fridge. But Prabhupada, you have to accept. Krishna arranged it in that way. Tolerate. Learn to tolerate. And then ultimately they'll get benefited. Look, Sali Agarwal left her body and she went back home, back to Godhead as well. Okay? Hare Krishna. We'll talk to you later. It's getting late now. Srila Prabhupada K. Krishna meeting the gopis ki. Jai. Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande.